All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. And welcome to everybody who's popping in. Hopefully, this is a very fun chapter to read. I am the Chestnut Tanuki, and obviously, I have my lovely co-host here. Go ahead, introduce yourself, Hime.
Yo, what's up? It's Hime from Ohime Tenshi. It's been a while, guys. I'm super excited as well.
It absolutely has. Yo! Thank you so much, Dak, for popping in. I super appreciate it. Yes, make sure you guys like this stream, because it has been a while. Last time I tried to stream, my computer, totally shut down. So, hoping that doesn't happen again, and we're able to stream. But otherwise, it seems like we have a pretty controversial chapter on our hands again. Seems like One Piece fans, have not been liking chapters recently, as they've been very vocal about. But we got some pretty choice words about that. And we also got some very hot takes that I think may rile up a couple people, so I'm excited. What's up, everybody in the chat? Hello. It's nice to see you guys again. It's been a really tough month for me. I've been having a lot of stuff going on, so I'm hoping to kind of get back to the regular swing of things with content. Hime, do you got anything to say before we start the chapter off?
No, I'm super excited as well. It's been a while, guys. I see you guys in the chat. Thank you for popping in. It's really appreciated.
All right, I think it is time to get started with the chapter. So, without further ado, everybody, let's get into it. So starting off with the cover page, we have chapter 1120, Atlas. Assuming that this is obviously the Atlas with Vegapunk. We see Denjiro at the top. Seems like he captured the kids that were throwing rocks at Yamato. Free my mans, they didn't do nothing wrong.
That's insane.
Bro, like I said, I'm sick of these cover pages. I'm sure somebody's going to do a fantastic analysis of these cover pages for Wano. Release me from these shackles, Oda. Release me from these shackles. I can't get Wano out of here. Anything you want to say about this? I feel like these are probably like the least hype cover pages I've ever watched in my life.
You know that's the thing, because cover pages used to like show us like some stuff we don't see. I mean, obviously it does the same thing, but like it's nothing like revolutionary. So maybe if like Yamato does something crazy or meets somebody like unexpected, I would be more hyped about the cover page. But right now it's just like, Yamato just living Yamato's life. It's just like, it's okay, fine, whatever.
could not care at all. Honestly, zero cares in the world. Give me something else. Give me to the Blackbeard Pirates, man. Where's
Cross Guild anything?
Where are the Kuzan cover pages? Like, I honestly,
real
this
NL.
one sentence went through the same stuff that Odin did, and everybody likes Yamato now. Perfect. Move on. Done. All right, but now we're getting to the meat and potatoes. So we start off the chapter, and it seems that we're 26 years ago on Punk Hazard, a genius in his prime. And we see obviously the Marine base, we see the world government flag, and then we also see really interesting like mustache skull. I really like that pirate flag thing there. And we see this is Punk Hazard, which looks super different. Seems like Punk Hazard was, I mean, beautiful, tropical, crazy.
Yeah.
What Aokiji and Akainu did to the island. Literally changed everything. But then we see, I implore you, Vegapunk, please aid us in our research. It is imperative that we study the Void Century. The world's history cannot remain shrouded in darkness. Our research requires expertise in numerous fields. And then we see Vegapunk go, I work for the government now. I can't afford to leak my findings. And then we see Growill, which I don't... is that the dragon talking?
It's a dragon. He has a dragon. What?
I guess that's the dragon that Zoro slayed in the beginning. So I guess Vegapunk created just dragons, bro. Interesting.
That's insane.
We see Vegapunk continue. How many times have they caught you anyways? Open your eyes. Can't you see why they keep letting you go free? They're hoping to flush out your allies. Stand down. Let the past remain shrouded. You won't find the answer to good and evil in a bunch of old stories. So I guess Vegapunk was very hesitant at first to help them. Makes sense. Clover actually looks really cool. I do like how
Yeah.
his hairstyle when he was younger was kind of.
Honestly, I love it. I love how like Oda is able to like draw them young and they look like they just look like super cool. I love the design. Even if like Vegapunk looks crazy, like it's still cool.
Yeah, this is a really cool interaction. And then it says, I once knew somebody who carried a D in their name. He was killed right in front of me. We grew up together. He was my brother. And then we hear a shock. And then we see my real name is Claome D. Clover. We were only friends. On that day, I lied to save myself. Tell me, how am I meant to accept a world where you can just die for having the wrong name?
Isn't that insane?
That's
Isn't that
actually
insane?
crazy.
You know what? It shouldn't come as a shocker that Clover is part of the D clan because like everybody who actually research like not necessarily research but like everybody who tries to go against the government, who tries to unveil the voice century, who tries to like go against the norm, most of them are from the D clan.
I I agree. Also, new D clan name. Like I said, I think that there were technically 12 tribes of D, similar to the 12 tribes of Israel. We got that parallel going on. Every chapter, these theories seem to be like more and more true, right? Um, I mean, this is a really big discovery, knowing that there was another D clan, uh, that they were actively hunting down people who were D clan members and trying to shroud them. Does make it interesting that both Saul and Garp were allowed to be in the world's government. Assuming that they're basically shrouding their names, as in like you can be a D clan member, but you need to work for the government, and as soon as you go against them, like you're basically like on a chain for the rest of your life. So really interesting that they like allow Garp such a high position while being a D clan member.
Yeah, and like I just wanted to add something also. Like I find it very interesting that all of the D clan members are people who actually go against the government, who actually like like who tries to make a change in the world. Like you would think like, is it a will that is passed on? Is it like just their fate? Like are they born with that like purpose, or do they just like they look at their name, they're like, okay, I'm a D clan, I need to do something? Or like is it just like from the end? Like I wonder like how does it work, this whole D clan thing? Like is it genetics, you
I
know?
mean, like, I think that D Clan is just like a family name passed down. So, like I said, I think that there were like 12 original families, probably originating with Joy Boy. I think that Joy Boy, like, Joy Boy's lineage is the same lineage as, like, Luffy, right? They probably don't know who his lineage is, but I'm assuming it's Luffy, right? Because when you're looking at, like, the 12 tribes of Israel, Joy Boy is Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, right? King of Dreams. That was the big dreamer, and his dreams were able to tell, like, the future and stuff. Um, Seems just kind of going along that same trail of thought that Luffy would be a part of that family. But even within that story, there were two brothers who like threw him down the well and basically made the father thought that he died, right? So there's probably going to be a lot of stuff with betrayal. Betraying people is like a really big thing, especially when you're looking at like Hebrew text and like Christian lore. This thought of like betraying people is like the greatest sin, basically. And even when you're looking at something like Dante's Inferno, like Dante's Inferno shows that the greatest sin is betraying somebody who trusted you, and that's why in the Devil's Mouth there was Brutus, Judas, and the other one. Right, there were three people who betrayed, and Satan was constantly gnawing on them.
Yeah.
And then really quick,
But
Hime, we got a $10 super chat from the chemist. Thank you so much, Comment. He says, go follow these two phenomenal creators. They're both absolutely incredible, and I promise you won't regret it. Also, Chestnut, can't wait for the Lilith cosplay and the iconic Lilith poses. And then he got a couple smirking faces. Thank you so much, Chemist. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the support. Make sure that you guys are also liking the stream to get more people in here. And thank you guys so much. Go ahead, Hime. Sorry. I
okay,
was
so
talking for a
to
bit.
go back, no, it's fine. To go back on the topic, so what I meant by what I said is that we haven't yet got introduced to any D clan member who wasn't trying to go against the government or do something like have like a certain purpose. That's what I mean. What I mean is that like there's no like D-clan bum who's just sitting down not doing nothing. So that's why I'm wondering, is it because like they know that they have to do something, or is it like something like is literally like a will that is passed on genetically to them? That's
I
why
mean,
I'm wondering if there's something like that.
the entire point of One Piece is like will passing down, right? Like
Yeah.
It's like passing. It's like one person has the will, and then the other person like passes it down. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think. Also, sorry, I'm like having the sniffles so bad right now. um, I think that's kind of the main thing, and I think that's what Oda tries to say basically throughout the
Mm-hmm.
entire story. It's like even with Clover, like he's only doing this because his brother was shot down, right? He's taking on and carrying on the will of his brother to future generations.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Clover, we saw with Robin, right, where Robin now carries on Clover's will. So it's probably something very similar to that.
I, I just want to say I wouldn't be surprised that after all, at the end, Robin is also part of the D clan.
I
I
also
don't know.
wouldn't be surprised either.
Honestly, she fits. She fits the role. To be honest.
No, I agree. But let me just continue this.
Mhm.
So we have that big scene from Clover. Tell me, how am I meant to accept a world where you can just die for having the wrong name? And this says history will only continue to be suppressed, and the people will never know. And Vegapunk is kind of just in shock, and he says, "I'll forget about what you just told me, but I'm afraid I can't help you. Do your best to stay safe. The voices of the past call out to you. Just wait. I'll solve this puzzle, and when I do, you won't be able to ignore them."
The voices of the past call out to you. This is so deep. This is so deep. It's just that these people that died with these secrets are like waiting for you to like unveil this truth to the world. Like this is just so deep when he said that.
That was actually pretty intense. But it's your turn now, Hime.
Yes. All right. So now, 22 years ago, I think we're still on Punk Hazard. Did you hear the news from the West Blue? Ohara came face to face with a Buster Call. Ooh, take a look. It's the biggest massacre ever. Oh, that's Caesar. I love Caesar. Caesar is laughing. He's like, they finally get that archaeologist Clover. Bro, Caesar is so evil, but I love him.
I love Caesar.
He's like, that's what happened when you look into the void century. No one's gonna make that mistake again. And then Vegapunk is just like three dots, not talking, and he's remembering. I implore you, Vegapunk. And now he's looking at the wanted poster of Nico Robin when she was a child. Oh, it looks like some brat survived. And then we see him at actually Ohara when he visited Ohara with some flowers and looking at the books that are actually inside of the water. I think that's what he's looking at. You must have had a chance to escape, Clover. So yeah, he's looking at the books. Oh my god, he's
Mm.
like, you chose death. Was passing on your research that important? You fools, did you really expect someone to be curious enough to follow in your footsteps after this? And he's crying. And you know what? He's literally like he is proving their point
Oh,
because
this is
he
crazy.
is that this is what it took for Vegapunk to actually, I think, continue the study. And this is such an emotional moment. I actually love this. I love this. This is actually giving me goosebumps. I love this.
This is really good actually. I think the way that they've been developing Vegapunk in the story is
Mm.
probably one of the best like
Oh yeah.
of a major character in One Piece. It's kind of like Vegapunk was always on this like sideline character. Like he's super smart. He basically has everything handed to him, right? Like if he just kept going on, he would just be able to research and do everything. But because he's so empathetic and because he cares so deeply about people, he can't help but like helping them, right? Like he can't help but
Yeah.
putting in the thing so that Bonnie never has to fight her father. He can't help but seeing Clover's unfinished research and trying to like push that
And
along. And I
even the
think
broadcast.
yeah, and I think that a lot of people thought, and I think we did as well, that Vegapunk was just very unfeeling. But I think it's just that
Yes.
Vegapunk is so caring that we just completely misunderstood his game. Like he's
Yeah.
so caring about people. He's like, "Stop it because you're going to get killed." And then he's like, "I guess there are some things that are more important than your life. There are some things
Yes.
that are worth sacrificing for." And that's like the big message that Vegapunk has. And I think that this shows it so perfectly where it's like sometimes you need to sacrifice your life and have somebody carry it on, and sometimes you have to show how important something is with that sacrifice.
And
Really interesting, honestly.
and I wanted to add on that is that like you guys know me. When I started like reading like about Vegapunk, I hated him. I literally have clips of me hating on that man. I really loathed him. I thought he was selfish, he was self-serving, and he was evil. But I love how the fact that I'm starting to like Vegapunk more and more. It means that Oda is doing a great job at like Oda was like, huh, you were wrong, and I love when an author is able to like make this switch about a character for me. It's just I love it. I just love like just hating a character and then up loving him. So I'm loving it too. So
Yeah, this is really
it's
good.
perfect.
And Hunter said, why is Caesar that evil? Caesar's just him, bro. Caesar's just an
Yeah,
evil guy. He's just a
yeah,
little evil clown. And then
yeah.
also, took like a buster call of the whole island for him to change his mind. Yes. And I think that's actually so important that it's like, a lot of people were just like, well, you're looking after stuff the world government doesn't want you. Like, they're gonna throw you in jail. Like, you're doing something illegal. No, they destroyed an entire civilization. And I think sometimes when you look at that, it's like, oh, it's a deterrent. Nobody's ever gonna do that again. But then people are like, wait a second. How important really is this information? Like, why are
Yeah,
they doing this? There's a
yeah.
point where it's like there's deterrence, right? You're gonna go to prison and jail, and everybody's gonna think you're a quack. And then there's, if this information is truly worth sacrificing so many people in order to hide,
I mean,
what is
it
actually hidden? And I think that is like the big thing where it's like this information is so important, it's worth dying for. And that's
because
basically what One Piece,
yeah.
like the younger generation can do it. If you could just get them to this point, then they can continue that research, and it's so important. It's worth it. And I think that this kind of hammers home that point so well. Like, this is done really beautifully too. The writing in this chapter is actually superb so far.
No, I agree. I agree because like again, he was like wondering. He's like, you guys literally sacrificed your lives to save books, and the whole island, like everybody is dead. So that's why it took all of that for him to realize to be like, okay, this is actually like serious. I need to get on that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pedro also said something really quick before we go
Mhm.
that he still thinks that Vegapunk might be evil and needs to be taken down. And I think that at some guttural point, I agree with you. I think that Vegapunk is suffering from like cognitive dissonance, right? Where he kind of knows what he's doing is evil. He kind of knows what he's doing at like a basis of something isn't right. But he kind of forces himself to look past that and be like, it's for the world government. The world government is right and just and all of this stuff. And it's like, it's just so, sometimes it's not always about that. And I think that Vegapunk, we see that he's trying to force himself to just go along this line of the government, because he could basically have anything he wants, right? He would be set for life. But at his core, like, he's such an empathetic person that it's like, yeah, I'll go along with this, but in my own way. I'll go along with this, but I'm gonna put an out switch. And that's kind of been what's been happening. So I think he's done evil things. I don't think he's an evil person. And I think that that's the
Yeah,
distinction we need to make.
I agree. All right, let's continue. Someone once told me that the voice. Oh, I think. Oh, we're back. Sorry, we're back on Egghead, and the broadcasting continues. Someone once told me that the voices of the past call out to you. History is written by the victors. Oh, I love this. It's so poetic. And the words of the vanquished are usually cast into a deep, dark ocean. And we see Zeph. That being said, the truth can still come to light. I don't know where we're at here. If they're
That's,
oppressed, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's Tequila Wolf.
Oh,
Um,
okay, 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 cool.
and that's where
Perfect.
Robin was. If you remember, they were building the big bridge, but this is where a lot of like the prisoners of war and
Mm-hmm.
stuff are like taken and they're forced as
Yeah,
like slaves. So
yeah,
I do like that. Keep reading, keep reading.
yeah. If the oppressed carry it on their back and endure, and then we see actually Robin with her hands on her face, she's like super sad, probably reminiscing. And I love how here the speech, it works for every character that is like underneath that speech. Like Oda made a beautiful job here. Like it just makes so much sense, right? Did you notice?
Yeah, it's actually really good. I love Robin in this because although Robin hasn't had like a very big role in Egghead kind of as a whole, the fact that she realizes that so many people are still carrying on the will of her people, and that it's like
Yeah.
I will die for the things that your people died for. Your people did not die in vain. You have to keep going. And I think that this is going to push Robin forward so much more as we go to later chapters. Honestly, she barely says anything. She has the dragon 3 dots, but there's so much emotion like in this drawing. It's beautiful, honestly. Like this chapter is like genuinely bringing me to tears, just in the way that Vegapunk is talking about like
It's so
the truth.
beautiful.
It is actually really well drawn too. Like this is probably some of the best
Yes.
emotional drawings I've seen, where it's like it's not over the top either. Like it's just like very subtle, where it's like the hand over the head, where it's like the oppressed will carry the truth on their back. And we see Robin, somebody who's gone through so much, just listening to this speech, just being like, yes,
This is
that
beautiful.
is my life.
It's so deep, it's so poetic, it's so like it's just so good. It's so good. Like this is literature, bro. Like this is so good. Okay, on to my last page. Hey, what are you? Oh, no, wait. Actually, for my part, I'm leaving this to the world. Hey, what are you doing? Hurry and blast off. That's Zoro speaking. They're probably on the sunny. Lilith is like, it's no good. We can't. That old centaur is gonna keep attacking. We're finished if he does. This ship can only fly for a kilometer.
Wahali, we're finished.
For real. If the Geyser disrupt our trajectory even a little, we won't make it. Wait, wasn't Zoro? Okay, he clashed with Nojuro, and Nojuro is like not near him, and he's coming back. Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they like clash and they're on the ship now and
Yeah.
they're trying to leave.
Yeah. Okay, so now Nojuro is like running back to them. Lilith is like, the wind's blowing north, and that's reducing our lift. Reducing our lift. Any further jolts will make us fall short of our projected landing zone. According to my calculation, if we miss the ocean, our damage will be critical. We have to get rid of him first. And then she looks away something, and she's like, what?
I had to get one last ass shot of Lilith before.
Yeah, literally.
But also we see Atlas. And I was spoiled on this, guy, so I'm so sorry, but I just want you to all know I am always right when it comes to Egghead Island. Never misjudge me when I come to this, because we see here Atlas punching Lilith, and it's Lilith! Wah! And then Zoro goes, huh? And we see Atlas, and it says, why did you do that to Lilith? And we see Atlas here, and she's holding Lilith, and Lilith is completely knocked out cold, and we hear this snap, meaning that
She clicked on a button or something.
I think she's disconnected, which I actually know she disconnected because I got spoiled on this, but she's disconnected her from the Vegapunk thing. And then we see Atlas. I'll leave her in your hands. Take off. I'll make sure you make it in one piece. And this is where the ending, you need to add the ending to this, where it's like the da-na-na, da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Y'all know what I'm talking about. This song is gonna play in the anime.
I just want to say, first of all, this panel is beautifully drawn. Like Atlas looks so good in that panel, but also like Rip, you're smoking on that pack. I know you're happy.
I just hold up. I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
So we see, what are you talking about? And we see York go, Lilith's access has been severed. Atlas is the only one left. Meaning that Lilith is probably going to be the only one leaving the island, as I have said since the very beginning. Every single chapter review, I say, God, I hope these Vegapunks be going. I was like, Atlas too fat to be on the ship, bro. She gotta get off.
That was so funny. Listen, the babes, Lilith, that's all we needed. We just needed the hot one to survive, bro.
And the thing is, there's actually like a lot of really interesting narrative that is going around with Lilith being the only one to escape, which I will get to as soon as I get past this part, and I will explain to you guys why this is like been foreshadowed since the very beginning of Egghead Island, since Lilith was hugging Edison, and I literally said then and there that she's going to be the only one leaving. This is peak. So we see Atlas is sacrificing herself. So it says, take Lilith inside, Zoro. Got it. And then we see Noshiro. Atlas, you've got to explain. Because Noshiro just saw basically this whole situation go down. And so she's flying at him. And we see, Let's go, Jinbei. We'd regret it if we hesitated now. Do it, Brooke! And we see Zoro screaming, right away, Zoro-san! And they whoosh out of there. So they go coup,
Kudo
then we
burst.
see, yeah, we see coup day, and then we see Atlas is going head on to Nasjuro. Her arm gets slashed off! And she flies directly into him. She's still going. Nasjuro is like panicking now. She goes whoosh. And then we see burst. And we see the sunny is going off. And Atlas is holding back Nasjuro.
She's actually like trying to push him away, go somewhere.
Yeah, and she's basically sacrificing herself. Because remember, she's the only Vegapunk that still has connection other than York. Which means that Lilith is leaving with the Straw Hats. Atlas is gone, smoking on that Atlas pack. I didn't get to buy my cigar, but I was going to buy my cigar for all of the Vegapunks. Although many people may be sad. Some of you may die for my theory. But that is a sacrifice that I am willing to make. Somebody has to edit Lord Farquaad over me, as I say that. Because
this is hilarious.
Because she's gone! Meaning that I have finally had my agenda seen through. Lilith will be the only Vegapunk leaving, and let me tell you why this is an absolute masterclass genius stroke done by Oda, and why this is probably one of the best things that happened in Egghead Island. Because from the very beginning, it was Lilith who met with the Straw Hats first. She was the first person that we were introduced to that was Vegapunk. And when we were introduced to Lilith, she was introduced as the evil Vegapunk. She was Vegapunk evil. And when she was met, it's like, she's kind of the most piratey out of the Vegapunks, right? She's here for treasure. She's always ready to scrap and have this fight. And we kind of are introduced to her as she's kind of this more lapdog of the world government. Oh, well, they're pirates, so we can just steal from them, right? Like, we can do that, while having the most pirate-like mentality. But as we see through the chapters, not only is she very caring for her other Vegapunks, but she also kind of mends with the Straw Hat. Like, she melds with the Straw Hats very well. She's, she has a really good relationship with Frankie and Usopp as they're kind of traveling along. She's very interactive and bright, and, you know, she's kind of, like, her and Brooke interactions, really funny, right?
I love it.
I think that she has, like, a really good repertoire with some of the outer people of the Straw Hat Pirates, and I also think that, like, the first interactions with Zoro and Robin are going to lead to a lot of really interesting interactions. But there is one other thing that I do want to mention, and that's the fact of inherited will with Lilith, and I think that that's the most important part of this character leaving with the Straw Hats. She always had an issue with Shaka because Shaka was the one making all of these moves. She was like, who put you in charge? Why would you be the one leading me? But in reality, it was necessary because Shaka was trying to teach Lilith what's truly important, right? And I think that after these experiences, Lilith is not only going to take what Shaka was trying to do, i.e. speaking with the revolutionaries, being with Dragon, I think that she's going to take the rest of the sacrifices that the Vegapunks made in order to get her out, and she's going to make her choice and work with the revolutionaries eventually. I think that she's going to do that to carry on Shaka's will. Although Shaka thought that the most important person to get out was the original Vegapunk, there are now two sides of Vegapunk. There's the Vegapunk who was greed, the Vegapunk who worked with the world government, the Vegapunk who didn't necessarily care what he did and he just wanted to experiment, and that was with York. That was that gluttony. You just continue to want. But the evil side, right? And this is the interesting part. The evil of Lilith Vegapunk is the evil that the world government has been saying about pirates. The pirates are evil, the Navy is good. So how poetic is it that evil Vegapunk ends up with the Straw Hat Pirates? Because she was never evil to begin with. And I rest my case.
No, it makes sense. Like, I love the parallel where, like, there's, like, you know, because Vegapunk also, like, says that, like, you know, they cannot be good without bad. There's, like, always, like, a balance in between things. So it makes sense that Vegapunk also, like, it translates over his clones, where, like, one of them is gonna stay with the government and one of them is gonna actually help the pirates. And it fits the theme of, like, her being evil, it works with pirates, and the other one being greedy, it works with the word government. It just all, like, the pieces are falling perfectly. Honestly, no, I love it. Oda just very much cooked with that. I love it.
Yeah, also, if the Punk records, like, ends up getting exploded, the two Vegapunks, in my opinion, will be fine, because they're not connected like in that way. Their brain is connected with like their brains are with the information, but they're like fully autonomous people too. So they just won't have that information. Like Lilith will no longer have access to the brain fruit, which honestly it seems like she already doesn't have access with the brain fruit anymore. So she's going to just have to be a genius in her own right, which
And,
will be very
and
interesting.
it makes and also it makes sense because it makes sense that Punk Records ends up being destroyed, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense, because to get what is her name to get Lilith back up and running, they have to re-click the button, and we don't want York to be able to track her, so something has to, like, be destroyed, like the link between them,
I don't think it
for
was
the
like a
future
button. I
arc.
think it's just she got knocked out.
Yeah, but it was a button, they clicked on the button. It's a button
What
that they pressed.
button?
Yeah. Look, when you go up, there's a snap.
Yeah, but I don't
Um,
think she's on a button. I think it's just the snap of her like passing out.
no, I read the leaks. It's a button.
But I don't see
Um,
a
uh,
button.
but you don't need to see it. It's like they said that it's like a switch. So like what is her name? York is not able to track her anymore.
Yeah, but the switch I thought was inside the brain. So when she smashed her brain, like when she smashed her and hit her in the head like that, like in the back of the head, I thought that's what cut her off. There's not like like an
Uh,
actual physical one,
no, it's actually a physical switch.
but we don't see it. So how did they know? We
I
just
don't
hear
know.
a snapping sound.
I'm just telling you what they said. But what I'm
I don't think that's correct because you don't see it. I think it was literally I think she literally hit her so hard that she disconnected it because she's like completely knocked out, and we hear the snap and fizzle, and that's the same thing that we hear with the transponder snails. Do you remember when the transponder snails, like their internal machinations get like snapped? That's what I would assume this is. It's kind of like she punched her so hard, and then she's like holding her here. I don't know. I don't see necessarily where she is like turning off like a button. And it's weird if there's like a button in the back of her because we never saw that before.
I don't know. I'm just relying what they said. But if in the case there is one, I'm wondering how they're going to, like, if let's say there's a button, I'm wondering how they're going to like return it on, and then York will know that she exists. She's alive. So like, I'm wondering how Oda's gonna play that out and how this is gonna work if it's the case. Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just unsure where this button would be. Like
I
if
don't
it's in
I
the
don't
back of
know.
her head, we would be able to see it. I mean, like
Maybe.
and she did hit her like square on. Like she hit her like her head was down. She was inside of there. So I'm just assuming that whatever internal machination is connecting her, she just whacked her down. It's an Atlas hand. It's literally turning it off. But like I don't see her hand turning it off. Like where like just because we hear like the snapping sound at the bottom, in my opinion, that's just Lilith doing it because she's then holding.
I think there's a switch, but will it matter for the future? We'll have to see. I don't know.
I mean, like possibly. I feel like that is very important, and I can see why people would think that. But we've seen that side of Lilith's head, right? So what would she be pushing? Like
Maybe
I
it's like
see her
behind her
holding it.
ear or something. We don't know. Maybe we cannot see it. Who knows? Anyways, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. I just wanted to like add that point. Um. All right. So to keep going, we see the ships, the marine ships, around Egghead. Everybody's like, "Whoa! I'm praying that this message gets transmitted safely." Vice Admiral Hound, sir, what is this? There's a snake, a boar, a bird, and now a robot. Where did these giant creatures come from? Because nobody knows that these are the Gorosei. Um, and then we see the Vice Admiral. He's like, I honestly don't have the faintest idea. Oh my god, even the Vice Admirals don't know. They don't know, huh? That the Gorosei can transform like this.
No, nobody does.
Yeah,
Nobody's seen the
yeah,
Gorosei.
exactly. Then we see Luffy, who's shocked at the robot. He's like super, like he's actually amazed by the robot. He's like, it's the huge robo. He calls it a robo. And the giants and everybody, even Frankie and Sanji, we see them. Everybody is amazed. An iron giant. And then we hear the voice saying, the voice of Emmett, Joy Boy. I am happy we got to meet again. I'm assuming this is how he sounds. Um, and then Luffy's looking at him like weirded out. He's like, who is he talking to? And then Emmett is like, over here, you. I can already imagine this is gonna be a funny scene. Um, Then we have a beautiful panel of the giant of Emeth. Then Vegapunk continues. I realized it would be foolish to blindly trust in a one-sided account of a 900-year-old battle. Why is he saying that? I realized it would be foolish to blindly trust in a one-sided account of. Oh, he means like in the story
Yeah,
that was
he's
told
talking
to the
about in the
people.
thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Um, and then Emeth continue. I came like before. Your enemy is my enemy. I am glad I can fight for you again, Joy Boy. Luffy's like, you can talk? That's so cool. you know, Luffy cannot assess any situation. Then we have the Gorosei, we have Warkari and Jupiter. Emeth continues, I will protect you from danger, Joy Boy. And then Warkari is like, we must pound them to dust. Jupiter is like, it seems Vegapunk's speech is all but over. And I'm on my last page. We have the giants. Let's go. Hey, Straw Hat, is he a friend? Luffy's like, not really. He was saying something about protecting some guy called Joy Boy. Who even is that? Um, uh, it talked. We didn't hear a thing. He's like, Luffy's like, whoa, really? Then I think we're back to the who is that? I have no idea. Marine, maybe.
Yeah, it's the rider
Uh,
lady, the red
oh,
red fruit
oh,
girl.
oh, okay.
Remember
She looks weird
Bonnie's
from that
fruit?
angle. Yeah,
Bonnie's
yeah.
fruit de-aged her. Remember?
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah. She's like, enough chit chat. Shoot! We can't let them get away. Yes, ma'am. So they're trying to shoot them. Vegapunk continues, but I think we should be able to scrutinize. I don't
Scrutinize.
know. Oh,
Scrutinize.
scrutinize and learn about the past from every perspective possible. I only wish I had more time. I just want to say something here. I really love the fact that Vegapunk is like not saying who is right and wrong. He just want to present the perspectives that exist and let people pick. I actually really love that neutral side of him. Yeah, can go on.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
Oh,
done.
okay. I hate that, bro. Vegapunk, pick a fucking side, bro.
Okay, you see, we don't like the same things.
Uh, also, back to the hand thing. I will say, if there is a button, I think it's stupid that they all didn't just turn that off then in the beginning. Just turn it off, right? Like, I understand, like, the fact of, like, them doing it, but both Atlas and Lilith could have probably turned off that switch and they wouldn't have known.
But the problem is, I think that if you turn it off, you cannot function. I think it goes together.
I don't think so. Why would that?
I don't know. I'm assuming. Because otherwise, you're right. Why wouldn't they do it? So I'm just like theorizing that they maybe didn't do it because they have to have it on to function. Maybe.
But if they did,
I'm
but
just
then why?
theorizing.
So here's my thing. Why knock her out? You could just turn off
Ah,
the switch.
because probably Lilith wouldn't have wanted. Because Lilith wouldn't have let Atlas go sacrifice herself. You saw
but
how she was
no.
acting. Like
He may.
yeah.
Think about what you just said. Hold up. No, not
What?
that. If you can't function if the switch is off, all
Mhm.
Atlas would have had to do is turn off the switch.
Oh, because maybe she's not able to go and turn it off like swiftly, so she needs to knock her out. So because maybe Lilith wouldn't have let her do it. You know?
Atlas is Wrath, remember? So Atlas was the protector. There's no way Lilith would have been able to beat her, from what we've seen.
I don't
Atlas
know.
is too strong.
Listen,
So my thing is, I don't think. I think it
it's
was an internal. I think it's an internal switch. I don't think it's a switch that you can find like on the ears. Like that's what I'm thinking. Because you guys are thinking it's like an external one. It's something inside of her brain, is what I'm thinking. Like it's on the inside, and so they just needed to make sure that that was off, and that's why she had to punch her so hard in the head. Like she literally punched her through the floorboards, and then like when you look at her hand is like behind her head, and then you see it, but it's like we've seen the behind, like the back of her head, so there's no switch. I think she physically had to punch her in order to break the switch off, because she's like bleeding. Like you look at Lilith, she's like bleeding. So I don't think it's like an external one that you can just flip back and forth, or else it'd be weird that we didn't see it on any of them.
Or maybe it's something that you have to like hit the head to like access from the inside.
That's what I'm saying. That it's like it's not an external switch. It's something that they literally had to break off the connection by smashing her head down. Cause like you don't see the fingers like by the ear. Like if it was a finger like pointing, I would have said yes. But she never like does that. She literally just punches her and then she like looks at her head just to make sure she's okay.
But I do believe that she has to still like access that switch, whether it's inside or outside. She still has to like maybe turn it off still, because that's like the sound of the switch that
Yeah.
happened. But I think that also Oda made it like even let's say it's an outside and not inside. I think that Oda would have still made Atlas hit Lilith just to make it more dramatic because that was
That
hella
that
dramatic.
is that is true. That is true. But Atlas, so like if we think about it, Atlas is
Mhm.
stronger than all of the
Yeah,
Vegapunks. Every
that's true.
Vegapunk has nothing on her with physicality. Like she's the strongest and she's the
Mhm.
fastest. She could have done it if it was switching it off. So I don't think it was like switching it off and they can't fight because I'm assuming that's how York did it, right? Like I'm assuming York was able to switch on and off her switch, but I think it's internal, right? Like it would be weird if it was like an external switch. Like even on the robots, we didn't see like a switch that could like do that. I think it's something inside of their brains that connects the brains to the other thing. That would just make the most sense than like a
We'll
button on the
probably,
outside.
you know what? We will literally get answer to that when they get to Alba because they will probably have to like like do something to get her up. So we will probably get more information about that.
No, yeah, that's true. And Joseph, I'm saying like the switch doesn't knock you out when you turn it off, or else there would be no reason to punch her, right? You could just turn off the switch and it would knock you out. So the reason that she knocked her out is because it was and I think the one guy said up there was a double. Not only did it damage the switch in her brain to shut her off, because technically Lilith shouldn't have access to that anymore. And I don't think that she should ever have access again to punk records. Like that's completely cut off, which is why she did that, right? Because it's like if you cut off your connection to it, it should be like there's no way to get reconnected, and then this way York will never figure out where Lilith is. That's what I'm saying. Is like there was an internal switch in the brain that is broken, and they can't fix it because now she doesn't have access to the lab, so she's on her own. And I would rather have that than this like, oh, she could just turn it back on and get everything. I don't like that. I don't think that that should happen. She's completely cut off from everything.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger sacrifice, and it's a much better thing than, oh, she just has access to everything again and she's just off the island so she can just rebuild it. Where it's like she's starting from scratch. She doesn't have Vegapunk's memories anymore. She doesn't have all the brain fruit basically. Like she's totally cut off. That I think is so much better. Edison is still alive? No, Edison was like
No,
we
he's
saw
dead.
we saw we saw Edison get blown up, bro.
And anyways, York is confirming that everybody is dead because York said that she like all of the connection got you know
Yeah.
disconnected. Oh, we have Kev DOG.
Yo.
What's up?
Yo. Yo. Because Lilith and York would always be connected. Yeah, and that's why I don't think, like, that switch can ever get turned back on, right? So York is basically now, like, the world government, right? Like, she has all of this access to this information and technology, and Lilith is back to square one. But I like that better. I think that the underdog story has always been something that's crucial to One Piece. So I think it would be just totally break it off. So that's why I'm saying it's not like an outside switch. It's not like a thing outside. It's inside of the brain. That's what I was trying. That's what I was trying to explain. Hopefully that came across. Also, the ancient robot, bro, just go attack them. What you doing, like standing around?
But I think he's going to he's taking a stance, right? On your page.
Maybe. But let's see. So we see he goes ka-ching, which I guess he's going into the Frankie pose. I think it was actually, I'm not too sure who was saying this stuff, but basically like all of the Joy Boy crew members, like Zunisha and like the ancient robot now, like they're mirrors of the Straw Hat, so that's why he's like fighting like Frankie, which makes a lot of sense. But
oh my god, he's taking a Frankie pose.
Yeah, this is strong right. Or
oh my god, you're right.
I guess technically he has strong left.
This is you're right. This is like I don't know how you call it, just a parallel for shadow, whatever, like to like, oh, this was like Frankie in Joy Boy's crew. Isn't that cool?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a really cool parallel. But we see but there are those who cannot be stopped. And we see both Sanji and Frankie, which I love. I actually love the fact that honestly Sanji and Frankie are such an underrated pair. We don't get a lot of them, but I feel like they mesh so well together.
Yeah. Honestly, to be fair, I feel like Frankie meshed well with everybody. I love Frankie. Frankie's interaction with anybody is hilarious. I love it.
It's so good. But we see the Jupiter, he got them fish lips, bro. He got them Botox lips. Well, inside joke for me and Hime, because some random guy in the street turned around to Hime and he was like, "Damn, girl, you got them Botox lips." That's what he said to her. And me and Hime were just looking at each other like,
what the hell? New York City is weird.
You know what though? She did have them Botox lips. So, yo, we see the ancient robot. It says, uh-oh. What? Watch out, ancient robot. What the? Yo, that uh-oh is actually hilarious. And then I guess he stops Jupiter with his hand.
His head
Oh.
is getting crashed, maybe? I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
whoa, robot. It seems the last 900 years have rendered those weapons inoperable. Okay. That's why the ancient robot is so weak. So for everybody who was complaining, his basic it's basically just a shell of what it was. He's rusted out, his
Yeah.
stuff doesn't work, he's not as strong.
It makes sense.
It actually makes so much sense. He literally has moss growing inside of him. He was like rusty when we found him. Like I can't be mad at that.
And
Like,
by the way, he's still injured, like Workery, like the most durable of all of them. So like he still did a great job, in my opinion, for like a rusty robot.
oh my god, that's actually hilarious. So it says, Peter, crush them where they stand. End transmission once and for all. And then we see a Saturn leap through the air. So, oh my gosh, bro. And he goes, I will not let you escape. And bro is crouched down. He's ready, bro. If there's one thing about Saturn, he always comes back, okay? He always comes back.
He's like the cockroach that, like, no matter how many times you step on it, it keeps coming back, bro.
This is hilarious. And then we see Saturn look, Kuma, Bonnie. And Bonnie's like freaking out. She's like,
Oh, she's in her kid form.
and then we see Sanji, and he observation hockey. You can actually tell because of the little thing here. So there you go.
Yeah, and he sees the sunny.
Yeah, so like his observation hockey, which is why he looks up and he goes, huh? And then we see the sunny and hold tight, we're going down. And then it says,
okay.
Is that yours?
Oh, you
no,
can keep going. It doesn't matter. Well,
No,
I don't mind.
Oh, are you sure? No, go ahead. You can go.
Okay. So here, Zoro is screaming, "Hold on tight, we're going down!" And then we see like Nami in the back, the queen. She's holding tight. Are we gonna make it? I don't know who's screaming. Probably Usopp. Then we have Atlas with Nazjuro. Oh my god, Nazjuro is like, "So you mean to make a grand sacrifice of yourself?" And Atlas is like, "Nah, I'm just lending a hand." Yo, isn't that the most cool way to go out? You Atlas, like she's up there, bro. Like she's up there from like respect. And then she just explode. And then like, behind the sunny.
I need to text you a joke that I can't say on here, but I have to text it to you. Hold on.
I feel like I know on what type of timing you're gonna be on.
My beautiful...
Sorry guys, we don't want to get demonetized.
I cannot be canceled. I love my beautiful Lebanese queen. She is my love.
The joke was hilarious. Anyways,
I love you, baby girl.
Me too.
Actually, on that Pedro timing, like for real, I don't know what's up with like people in One Piece and just exploding themselves. I mean, we got Pell,
honestly,
we have Pedro. You know what? It was Pell, Pedro. Atlas is a little bit weird, but maybe they're spelling out something. Maybe it's like Pappy or something. So maybe we'll get like another P character and a Y character.
Yeah.
Floating themselves.
Yeah. And then we have a beautiful, like, is that like a double spread? I don't know. Probably. And then we have like just the sunny still in the air. Vegapunk continues the message. 25 years ago, the pirate Gold D. Roger. This is the first time in the whole entire manga that Goldie Roger is written in that way. It's before it was written Gold Roger. So right now, right now, Vegapunk is telling the world that Rogers is part of the D clan as well, because nobody in the series actually knew that, apart from probably Ace, and like Luffy and stuff. I don't know actually if Luffy knew.
I thought that. I thought like Portgas D Ace came from. I thought that his mother was also a D clan member. I thought it was.
I don't know if she is. I know that her name is like Portugas D Rouge. Did she have a D?
D Rouge? I thought that she was. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm just misremembering it right now.
I don't know if she has D.
I thought there were 10 clans. But maybe
I'm
there's
not.
only 9.
Uh, honestly, I'm not sure if she's part of the decline, but I know for 100% sure
She
is
was?
that
Oh,
she
okay.
was cool. 100%
Also,
that yeah
oh, go.
that Rogers like nobody was the whole like world government even during Marineford they actually hid the fact that he was from the D clan. So and I just wanted to say that like this is very controversial because a lot of One Piece fans were very upset because they were like, oh, he's giving us information we already knew, blah blah blah. But that's the thing, like, no, it was never stated in the entire manga that Rogers was part of the D clan. We as viewers knew it. So it's very
I
important that
agree.
we bring that up.
Very quickly, I just want to say, I'm going back up. I gotta say it. Glad that bitch Atlas is dead. Alright, guys. I thought I could keep that hidden, but I really couldn't. So glad she's gone. I actually really liked Atlas, just so you guys know. But you know that agenda be pulling through for the Gold Roger fiasco, because of course,
Yeah.
every single One Piece fan is losing their mind over this Gold D Roger situation because a lot of people don't know how to read. And I know that it's very difficult for One Piece fans to read their own manga. Even though technically, like, a lot of pre-time skip was basically a picture book, sometimes it's very difficult for them to read. But there are 2 scenes that we need to just make sure that we are remembering, right? There's the scene in which Whitebeard and Roger are sitting down and point blank telling us that the world government has told everybody that his name is Gold Roger instead of Gold D Roger. In fact, Roger literally says that to Whitebeard verbatim. Just so we all remember this. This is just a regular scene that happened. There's also the fact that on the wanted posters, they spell his name as Gold Roger. We were literally told in the very beginning of the series, Gold Roger, King of the Pirates. I don't know how much more information we need about that, but so many people on Twitter were like, everybody knew that already.
Yeah, the watcher, but this, you know what the problem, what the problem with the One Piece fandom is that they think the story is only written for us, the readers. No, the story is also written in a way to cater to also the citizen, the people who live in the One Piece world. Because right now, this is a message for the One Piece world and for us. Us, of course, we knew a lot of these information, but the people like around didn't know that. So that's like an information for them.
Yeah, and Joseph, you're right. Oda did say to One Piece fans, this is a matter of reading comprehension. This is a matter of understanding your own story. Just because you know something as the reader, as somebody that is able to understand everything going on in the world, doesn't mean that a character knows. And I think it's really
Yeah.
important that it's like you will sometimes know a twist before it happens, right? Like you'll sometimes know, oh, York is gonna be the traitor, right? But the characters don't know that, and so when that happens, you can't be like,
But
I
I
knew
knew.
it. I knew. It's like no duh you knew because it was being set up. That's just good narrative. There's a lot of stuff we got to talk about at the end of this chapter because I think it's very clear that a lot of One Piece fans are like TikTok readers. And although me and Hime used to get this comment all the time, it is very clear that a lot of people who portray themselves as the smartest in the community have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. These are the people that need an AI book to translate to them what the Great Gatsby is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, 100%. No, no, but yeah, because that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, if you are writing a story and you are not clarifying and actually sitting things telling the things that are actually happening and like making them clear and confirming them, that means it's never confirmed. You have to confirm these things in the story, even if we all like kind of knew indirectly because we can see it as like omniscient readers. You still have to do it in a story. Anybody who read a story know that this is how it works. If you ever read a novel, this is how they do it too, you know. I feel like a lot of people maybe never read a novel, maybe, you think.
No, I don't think they know how to read. But that's okay. Go ahead and finish
Yeah.
this page, baby girl.
Yeah, so all right, so 25 years ago, the pirate Gold D. Roger achieved the unprecedented by circumnavigating. Oh my god, that's a big word.
Circumnavigating?
Circumnavigating the globe. Um, And then we have Usopp's like, it only worked because of you, right, Atlas? And he's crying with Chopper. Oh, anyway, um, Vegapunk continues. I have no doubt they heard the whole thing. And then we have York. Atlas signal is gone. This is you. This is you. You are. This is you, bitch.
Me
You know
texting
what's funny?
Hime all week about Atlas, and I'm like smoking on that pack. So glad she's
You know,
gone.
guys,
Atlas, L plus
you guys-
Richie, O plus Bozo.
I should lend her my York cosplay because I have a York cosplay, so she can cosplay her because she fits the description right now. Anyways, so York is like, Atlas signal is gone. It's finally happened. And then we have Nozjuro with like almost half of his face blown off. I just want to say this is actually a great feat coming from Atlas to like blow like a part of like Nozjuro's face. For me. I think it's very very impressive.
Nashiro has less durability than Pell confirmed.
Isn't that crazy? No, but wait, you can't say that. Zoro is your goat. Zoro
Listen,
didn't
bro.
do anything. You can't say that.
Listen, bro. Unfortunately, Pell level character. Gotta put them both in a minefield. See who comes out.
Oh,
My boy
well.
Pell. Neg
Shit,
diffing,
a lot
bro.
of a lot of agenda are gonna crash tonight. But she keeps going. She said, "I'm the last Vegapunk," and then Nojuro is like, "No, not quite." I think that he's healing because I hear crackle crackle. Do you think he's healing?
Or
Probably,
he's
right?
like Rice Krispies. You know how you put Rice Krispies in milk and they go snap crackle pop?
Oh my god. And then we have Saturn. He's like, "We have let you say far too much, Stella." Oh, he's talking about like the last Vegapunk, which is
message.
Stella inside of the broadcast. And then we have the boar and Jupiter. Indeed, this is the end. And they're in front of the robot. Emmett says, "Oh my, I have really rusted away. This is the time you spoke of, right, Joy Boy? Can I use it?" He's gonna use a super like last move. Like, is he going to blow himself up too? Do you
I
think?
really hope so. I really hope so. I think that would be so funny.
Everybody's blowing themselves up.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's exploding themselves. Also, Kev saw something really funny in the chat. Kev was like, "I'm the last Vegapunk."
You clown.
Thank
And
you
then,
so much, Kev. Make sure you guys go follow Kev DOG too. Make sure y'all
for
be
real.
popping in his.
Yeah. So sorry. And then Vegapunk continues and he's like, "They must have heard the voices of the past from the purest source possible." We have here they're coming back with the voice of the past. Do you think there's really like voices that speaks to you maybe when you get to Raftel or something like that? Or do you think that this is still a metaphor?
No, I would assume it's like the voice of all things he's talking about. But like just how like Emmett has it, where it's like there could be somebody who's there from Joy Boy's crew. Like maybe it's like the navigator, like the soul of the navigator is still there and she's relaying the tale, or somebody like Brooke, you know what I mean? Somebody who had previously had the revive fruit. Like could be something like that. Like once you die, like the revive fruit turns into something new or something. I don't know. Something could be interesting like that.
Very, very interesting. All right, and then Vegapunk continues. "I am confident you have all come to the same conclusion at this point, and I anticipate that is what will ultimately determine how things transpire in the future." I can't believe I said all of that without making a mistake. And then we see like pirates, impel down pirates. They're like, "Wait, what was that? Did he say goal D?" And then everybody like, "Covered in color spread next issue, a visionary envisions the future." So everybody's like now know that Goldie Roger is like part of the D clan because of that message. So I think
good, very
good
stuff.
I think this is good. They needed this confirmation so everybody start questioning. Okay, who are these people from the D clan? The Pirate King was part of the D clan. What does that mean? Are they criminals? Are they pirates? Are they people who can gain power? Like the people need to start questioning themselves. So that's why this confirmation revelation in verse was needed.
I think that Vegapunk's speech so far has been excellent. Not only has it revealed information to the world that needed to be revealed for a very long time, The gold D thing, I think, is probably one of the most important things to reveal to the rest of the world. Although we knew it, it needed to be revealed because this is going to be the catalyst for people understanding more about the D clan. I think the fact that he left some of the specifics about the D clan and their interworkings and mystery and it was cut off, I actually think that's a really good thing now because I think we're going to get a lot more of the D clan in the future, and that is the next big mystery, right? What was he saying about the D clan? There's somebody there that's some sort of traitor, right? And as we know, they love the people who are traitors. Oda loves to put somebody in every single arc that betrays somebody else. It's the same thing in the Bible. There's always somebody betraying somebody else. That's what I'm saying. It's just like the Bible.
It's the truth.
Really, like, honestly, this chapter was really good. The Lilith stuff I think was perfectly set up. So glad Atlas is gone, smoking on that pack. L plus Bozo plus RIP.
Flashback. The flashback was beautiful.
Flashback was beautiful.
I loved it.
Stunning. I think it does a really good idea of showing that sometimes you need to die for certain things in order for others to understand its importance.
And
that
Robin
sometimes
moment.
your sacrifice isn't in vain. Robin moment I think was excellently done. Especially showing how the Will of Ohara was carried on. This chapter was beautiful.
Honestly,
right?
like, I even though, like, you know, I read leaks and I know a bit what happens, like I didn't read the whole chapter, and honestly I enjoyed it, and I thought it was beautifully drawn and it was well paced, and it was like it was perfect. Like, I don't know why people are so mad. You know what? We know why they're mad. We can get into that right now.
And we
can
will.
get
But
into
first
that.
off, Kev, I actually don't hate Atlas. I just really wanted Lilith to be the only Vegapunk left, like leaving the island with the Straw Hats.
Agenda. It's agenda.
That was my this is purely agenda. I knew that if I said so glad she died, I knew people would be like, bro.
Yeah, no, it's just purely agenda.
Yeah. This is just agenda piece. But I actually think we need to talk about the illiteracy of One Piece fans on Twitter, specifically the illiteracy of people who think that One Piece is a battle shonen. There has been a conversation going on recently about specifically this chapter and the fact that people think One Piece is solely a battle shonen because it has fights in it. If you think this, you are wrong. Because One Piece has never been a battle shonen. One Piece is an adventure shonen that focuses on the story, it focuses on the emotions of the character, and it has an overall mystery that keeps people coming back time and time again. There was not a lot of fighting in this chapter. There was not a lot of good power scaling for this chapter. And this shows that it is not a battle shonen. This is not Jujutsu Kaisen. And honestly, this isn't something like My Hero, which is a battle shonen, whether you guys like to admit it or not. That's what a battle shonen is. And I think that a lot of people who started reading, like, by Wano, and this is their first time reading through, they just don't understand really what One Piece is about. Honestly, I don't even think that they've read arcs like Skypiea or Thriller Bark, or they didn't like arcs like Fishman Island. And I think that when you start seeing people like this, and also when you see the Mihawk profile pictures, you just know it's going to be a horrible take. Because these people think that One Piece is centered around Zoro because Zoro fights, and that because of that, it's a battle shonen. No.
Did you see the latest trend on Twitter where they were like, Zoro is a I don't know how to say
the
that.
Deuteragonist?
Yeah. And I looked at that and I was like, y'all are lost, because he is far from that. He doesn't push the story at all. He is literally, you can see him as part of the main cast, or maybe one of the most important secondary character. You can say that. But to say that he pushes the story like somebody like Sasuke, for example, he doesn't push the story. He doesn't have a storyline on his own. Zoro could tomorrow, I'm sorry to say this, Zoro could tomorrow die and One Piece could still go on.
Yeah, and I think, like, a lot of people don't really understand. I also think that Sandman... So, for those of you who don't know, Sandman showed us the illiteracy of Zoro fans recently. And I think that he purposely made his tweet in very poor English. Personally, I don't really like a lot of Sandman's translations into English because I don't think that the English is usually correct. It's one of the reasons why I like Pew's English a lot better when he translates stuff, because it's actually with, like, proper grammar and syntax. Because when Sandman made this tweet, the tweet read off as before he made One Piece, he thought of Luffy, and then he was thinking of a second main character and thought of Ryuma. That doesn't really make sense, right? You don't have two main characters with Luffy and Ryuma, right? The actual statement is more of, before One Piece, he had this idea of Luffy as a main character, but then he thought up of a second main character with Ryuma because he thought it would sell more, which makes so much more sense because he released Monsters, where Ryuma was the main
Literally.
character of Monsters, right? Zoro was never in the statement, which is why I think Zoro fans are illiterate. They have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, because when you look at Oda, he originally created this character of Luffy, but he had Ryuma as his second main character that he created,
And
he made
another
one shot for it.
storyline.
And
And
another,
that's not
and
a story. It's not even in the same verse. That's the funny part. He was never gonna put two main characters in the same verse.
and it was
Like he was creating two storylines different.
And they specifically said before One Piece too, which is why I was like, this is before One Piece was created. He was thinking about a character like Luffy, and then he thought about a character like Ryuma as like the second main character he thought up, which makes total sense. He made the manga of Ryuma with monsters, and then he made Luffy. He actually made, I think it was Outlaws first, where Luffy was one of the main characters in it, where it's like, he just had two main character ideas, right? And like how many other people were pointing out, Zoro wasn't even supposed to be on Luffy's crew at first, like, so...
He was supposed to be on Bucky's
He
crew.
was supposed to be on Buggy's crew, so very clearly that statement is referring to Monsters and his Outlaw one-shot, which makes so much more sense, right? Like, if you're just looking at the timelines, that's very clearly what it was talking about, because you're right, Zoro is nothing like Sasuke. Sasuke is the second main character of Naruto. Not only is
Literally.
his story one of the most important in Naruto, aside from Naruto's, but he is
pushes the
continuously
story.
he's continuously pushing the story. Things happen with Sasuke that are incredibly important. You can't take Sasuke out of the story. You could
That
take
doesn't
Zoro
work.
out of the story, and you could replace him with if you replace Zoro with King, the story would still function the same. Which is why
Really?
Zoro, although I do like so here's the thing, I actually think Zoro is a deuteragonist. I actually do think that he is the second main character, but it's not because Oda said it like that. I think that there is a lot of different things. You guys know I'm a Zoro fan. I just think that that statement that people are using is completely wrong, and it's one of the reasons why people hate Zoro fans. It's one of the reasons why so many people are like, oh, you hate Zoro, even though I love Zoro. And then when I say that I love Zoro, people think I'm stupid, because these people just they just cannot understand basic things. And I think this also leads into the fact of people hating on this chapter.
Yeah,
the
to
only
get back
reason
to
you would
that.
Yeah, the only reason you would hate on this chapter is that you don't understand One Piece is not a battle shonen. This was an absolutely fantastic chapter. The writing was top tier. The emotionality was top tier. The only thing that wasn't good in this was the power scaling and fighting, which has never been good in One Piece, because it's not the main focus. It is a side focus. Battles do happen, but half the battles are off screen because it
And
doesn't
also-
matter. Because
And also
Go ahead.
they're hating on the fact that they're not getting new information. But the thing is, again, in a novel, you need to confirm things in verse, even if the readers know or theorized it. So we are very lucky as a community to have so many theorists, to be like to push ourselves to, like, you know, we love theorizing, we love like predicting things. So obviously a lot of things sometimes are gonna, like, you know, work out, because this is how Oda foreshadowed them to happen. Like, imagine no theory would come true. Like, it would be kind of ass. That mean that we were always thrown off. So it's normal that, like, yeah, a lot of things that we think was gonna happen are happening right now, and we're getting the confirmation. Like, it's totally normal. I think that people are upset because they didn't get surprised, but you're not supposed to be surprised about all of the elements of a story. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that means that, like, the reader didn't, like, guide you correctly. If nothing, if your prediction came true.
Exactly. And I also think that a lot of people who are upset about this, they just want things spoon-fed to them, and I think that this sometimes happens with Jujutsu Kaisen fans. Because Jujutsu Kaisen is, and I like bringing this up, because a lot of fans are like, these chapters are mid, these chapters are booty, and it's like, I just want to see these characters fight, I just want to do this. And then you start talking about, like, Gojo and Gato's relationship and how it's like a reflection of, like, motherly love, and they're like, that's not even confirmed in the story, like, that's not true, you guys are looking way too into it. And it's like, I see so many people do fantastic analysis of Jujutsu Kaisen, like, on TikTok and stuff, and it's like, no, these things are right, you guys just, it's primarily a battle shonen, but that has these things. But because they're not outwardly confirmed, everybody's like, it's not true. But in One Piece, when he confirms every single thing so that it's literally spoon-fed to people, they're like, this is
They
mid.
hate it.
This is boring.
They hate
that-
on it. Yeah, exactly. They hate
and
on
that's the
it.
issue. Because people
You can never
don't
satisfied.
understand. No, yeah, and you're right. People will never be satisfied, but people don't understand that in a story, you need to actually write a story and not just have cool fights. That's when, and especially in these big, complicated stories, you need to do that. And I think that D made a very good example. One Piece is like an epic, right? One Piece is a modern day Iliad and Odyssey. very clearly too, right? It actually follows a very similar format with the wording, with the story, how the characters are portrayed, and also how the fights are portrayed. Because when you're looking at the Iliad and Odyssey, they have fights, but it's not this crazy in-depth battle system, right? Like, it's just like the fights happen because they need to happen. The encounters happen because they need to happen in order to progress the story. Nobody would ever say if the Iliad and Odyssey were adapted today that it's a battle shonen. Like, let's say if it was a manga. They would say it's an adventure shonen with battles. Do you agree with me, Hime?
Yeah, 100%. And I want to add something else is that I think that a lot of people also are really disliking the latest chapters because, you know, they're more like lore driven, you know, dropping some information in verse. They're really hitting on it because they are not used to it. And I came to the conclusion that most of these people, um, they have never been, this is their first weekly read arc of One Piece. They have never read like One Piece weekly before. They're probably Wano people that maybe binged the anime or even just watch Wano, because a lot of people, by the way, just watch Wano and didn't even watch the rest of One Piece.
Mihawk
I know some,
fans.
I know some people, by the way, who did that. I'm not gonna flame them, but whatever. But yeah,
Blame them.
and even the
Expose
people
them.
who actually read, who actually read or like binged One Piece, like you were binging this entire time, so you're not used to waiting week by week. If you were there back in the days, if you were there during Fishman Island, Skypiea, Whole Cake Island, Dressrosa, some of these arcs have the worst pacing possible, even in the manga, where like week to week was insufferable, aggravating, cancerous. It was awful. It was way 10 times worse than, if you think the pacing of Egghead is bad, you haven't experienced shit, fam. Okay, I'm telling you right now, this pacing is very fast compared to like the other pacing, and you would have never survived. You would have actually maybe probably dropped the whole entire series. I'm not even joking with you. You would have probably dropped it. So I think that it's very important to remember that these people probably this is their first time, and it's always the hardest. The first week to week read of a One Piece arc manga is the worst because you're not used to waiting like that and to get it edged or to get like repetitive information. Like, guys, do you guys remember the fucking birthday cake with the Big Mom, bro? That shit lasted forever. Like even Dressrosa, like all there was extremely bad pacing in the manga, but we survived and we're here and we're patient because we're One Piece fans. And you know what? They're gonna get used to it because of Egghead in the next arcs when it's gonna happen, because it's gonna happen again. It's normal. It happens in every arc. It's a bit slower. They're going to be used to it afterward. So I just want to say that's my theory about what is all of what is happening right now. You guys are just novice noobs getting into it. You
Get
know,
good.
and
L plus
yeah,
Bozo plus
honestly,
RIP,
honestly,
bro.
skill issue,
Skill
and
issue.
people says that you know, it's just like people like are so used to like getting information like just like spoon fed to them, like they don't have like the capacity of, first of all, waiting, and also the attention capacity to you know, like you know, like this the new generation, I guess. But yeah, so just get used to it because it's always gonna be this case in One Piece. In every arc.
I appreciate our resident grandma telling us, considering that she's been weekly since Thriller Bark. So I appreciate that, baby girl. Also, you gotta like start the that's like clip, because I know you're gonna clip that. You gotta start it with like this. You gotta be like, all of these new One Piece readers have no idea what they're talking about, and it's just because they have short attention spans. Skill issue, honestly. And then just go into your thing.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, this is showing us like, so the people who are gonna survive this, which is really not that bad, by the way, like are they gonna come back to it and be like, oh, you know what, like in future arcs are gonna be like, you know what, I was tripping. Yeah, but some other people, this is gonna weed out the weak ones, like natural
is true.
selection, baby, natural selection. Bye bye.
People saw the cool animation of Wano and they thought One Piece was a battle thing, and it's like, you have never seen Fishman Island.
I truly believe that there's a lot of like it's also battle driven in One Piece. I think that it's a mix of a lot of themes. Like, you know, there's the lore, the adventure, the world building. There's the battle, the fights, the power system. There's everything, but it's not centralized. Like a lot of people think that it's mainly and centralized about battles, because in the anime right now we're getting so much cool like fighting scenes and effects and animation, from Gear 5 of Wano to now. So I think that a lot of people are like forgetting that, like, oh, it's like there's lore, there's like the story, the adventure, the journey, there's the emotions. Like, you guys are forgetting all of the, and you know what, they're gonna remember, because like right now in the anime, there's gonna be the Kuma flashback and everything, and people are gonna be like, okay, you know what, like there's more to One
You
Piece
know,
than just fighting.
you know what, Hime? And I just realized that. A lot of One Piece fans who think that One Piece is a battle shonen don't realize that One Piece is just a very specialized game of Dungeons and Dragons. Think about it, right? Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons is an adventure game. It's not a fighting game. The fights, although are a very big part, and I think the fights in D&D way bigger than the fights in One Piece, right? Have way more importance. It's about the adventure. It's about finding out the mystery. It's about going through dungeons and finding things. Like, I'm pretty sure like the new D&D module just dropped in 5e. Oh, what is it called? My dad just bought it and we're gonna run it with my family, but it's like that's what One Piece is. One Piece is just a huge thing of D&D. Nobody would ever say that Dungeons and Dragons, the best part of it is the battles. No one would be like, oh my gosh, it's only about the battles. If you play D&D, it's only about the battles. Nobody's saying that. The best part of D&D is going up to the gremlin in the bar and being like, hey, I hear you have potions. Let me see if I can do it. Roll to see if you have charisma. I'm going through this dungeon. It looks like this chest might be trapped. Roll to see if you can do that. That's One Piece, right? Oh, this might be what there. Let's see if I can figure that out. Oh, there's this cool mystery. Oh, I figured out this puzzle.
You
Time
the
to go to the next
poneglyphs,
room.
everything, bro.
That's what I'm. So it's like it's an adventure. It's an adventure genre, and adventure genres have fighting, because that's just what it is. I feel like people don't realize like almost every single adventure genre type media has fighting in it, but that doesn't mean it's battle centric. Jujutsu Kaisen is a battle shonen. One Piece isn't. I would say like the one that's like a true mix would maybe be like Fairy Tail, because I think that Fairy Tail is a lot more focused on like the guild fighting, but even then it's more about like the traveling, and like the power system is like horrible. So, not like bad in a way, but bad in like Natsu will always win, right? There's no like actual like tension with it. So I think like that would more be like a good idea of a mix. But like think about like My Hero Academia, battle shonen. The entire thing is surrounding battles. The plot is surrounding battles. There's not a lot of really big twists and turns. Why? Because it's focused on that. If One Piece was truly a battle shonen, we would have gotten the 2-year time skip completely laid out for us, because that is the most important part of a battle shonen, is showing how people train. And we really don't get that in One Piece. Why? Because the only thing we needed to know post time skip is they were weak and they got stronger. And that's it. Sorry, I'm yapping.
We get more development about their emotions than their like fighting skills. Like, when was the last time that we saw like the development of like a Straw Hat, like fighting wise? Like, it's always like they come up with the move on the spot when it happens. Like, but we see them like go through emotions. Robin, Sanji, Nami, everybody, we see their emotional state more than like their physical like fighting state. So I think people are just forgetting, or people just don't pay attention to details. But it's out
This
there.
is a
It's in front
matter
of
of
us.
reading comprehension.
Literally, literally.
But any other topics we want to bring up? I feel like we hit the major ones.
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly, I'm very excited for the next chapter, because I think that like right now, I don't think there's any more like fighting. I think that there's gonna be Emmet, who's going to like probably blow himself or do something like the move of the
Another
century.
Exapros, like Megami from Konosuba.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just Exapros.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And after they're gonna just like the rest, this is gonna be their chance, their big chance of like leaving the island, and then Elbaf. But before Elbaf, probably we're gonna switch POVs, I think, and I hope that we switch POVs with Blackbeard and the Cross Guild. I want to see some POV over there. I hope that it happens.
Yeah. I also agree. I think this chapter was great. I'm excited to see the next chapter.
Same.
I think that there was a lot of emotionality with it. I think that a lot of people are too caught up on the power scaling of One Piece when in reality it doesn't matter. I think power scaling is a fun way to pass the time, and I think that's something like
Yeah.
as long as it's fun. Like me and Hime have had conversations. Oh, I think Sanji would lose to Zoro, and she thinks like, oh, Sanji beating the shit out of that green haired Moss hat, right? But no, but
I actually don't believe that, but yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I think it can be fun. I think that if you're getting too into the power scaling aspect of One Piece, you will always be disappointed because it is never the highlight of anything, right? Like that's why so many people were upset about Gear 5. And I think that that is a perfect representation of why One Piece isn't a battle shonen, and why Oda has literally said like this is an adventure one. Like this isn't your typical battle shonen that is appearing nowadays, where the fighting is the main focus. Like I want to do stuff within the story, and I think that there's just so many things that go against that. That just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Stop worrying about the battles. Stop worrying about Zoro being the main character of a manga that
How
he
about
isn't
you?
the main character of.
Yeah, you can worry about the fighter. You can also like it. You can power scale and everything, but just don't forget that this is not the main focus.
Yeah, and it's like I think a lot. Honestly, and I've been seeing so many Zoro fans be like, "Oh, if a chapter doesn't have Zoro fighting, it's an L. As soon as a chapter has Zoro fighting, it's a W." And it's like a lot of you guys make your fandom sound stupid, and it sucks because I know that you guys aren't stupid. Like I know you guys are smarter than this. Corn is a really good example. Corn, I know you can read, bro. I have seen you read before. You and I both know that this chapter was very good with emotionality. You and I both know this chapter has a lot of great setups, has a lot of really good things that the world needed to know, and it pushes along the story. It is okay if a story doesn't have fights. And I think that as soon as a lot of people realize that One Piece chapters don't always have to have something amazing in it, and it can just focus on the emotionality and pushing forward the narrative to be good, that we can finally have world peace. But unfortunately, that will never happen. Um, but that's all we have for today. I'm done sitting on my soapbox, morally grandstanding to everybody, calling them illiterate because I disagree with them. Unfortunately, they're always wrong and I am always right, so it just be like that. You guys are always feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but I think my point still stands that just enjoy it. I think this chapter was very good, regardless of having fights or not, because fights are not the most important thing to me. Very clearly, I like shoujo more than shonen, but um,
Yeah.
all in all, I think this was really good. I'm hoping to get back to the Tuesday podcast very soon.
Yes.
Lots of stuff have been happening in my life, and in with you know, we just haven't did, yeah, and with Hime as well. That it's just been very difficult for us to do stuff. Hopefully, we can get back into there. I have a couple really cool things that I want to get. Like, I want to start getting more guests on, and really start that back up again.
Yes.
Because
Same.
I feel like anime is getting really cool nowadays. So I'm kind of hoping to kind of get back into that with shorts as well. So if you guys like my
Yeah.
content, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you guys see anybody who's like a mod in my channel, also make sure you guys subscribe to them. And obviously making sure you're liking all of Hime's videos and subscribing to her as well.
And I just wanted to add that in 30 minutes ish, we're going to react to the JJK latest chapter on my channel. So, guys, tune in, come join the Discord, or go on my channel. We're going to also read the latest JJK chapter.
Yep, I was going to get to that, but I
Oh,
was
sorry,
going to
sorry.
say that.
I see you.
No, it's okay. But all right, so join us in 30 minutes so that we can do other stuff and read Unreal Battle Shonen. But I love you
Mhm.
guys. I appreciate you guys, even if you guys disagree with me. I'm always up for a debate. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time, Tanuki Crew. Peace, peace.